What's going on, everybody? Mike coming in from my kind of office slash pool space in Moore, Oklahoma. So if you guys are watching me live and you see that live button over there and over here, please drop me a 1 and tell me where y'all are coming in from. And if you guys are on replay and you don't see the live button, please drop me a 2 and tell me where you guys are coming in from. I love knowing where everybody is watching from. And I'm going to do some simple tips for everybody that is working at home. I know this is going on like 3-4 weeks for some people. I spent the last 2 weeks working from home, doing Army recruiting, doing what we call teleworking, and it was all pretty much virtual. We did everything virtual. So I have some tips for you. That way you can pretty much stay in the same type of routine that you were in before when you were actually getting up and going to work and everything else. All right. So the first one is create a commute. All right. And what I mean by create a commute is it means like don't just jump out of bed and start working because that's not what you normally do. You want to keep the normal and you want to stay doing what you were doing beforehand. So what that means is get up in time. So if your alarm usually goes off at 6 o'clock, get up at 6 o'clock, make your coffee. If you eat breakfast, make your breakfast. If you make breakfast for the kids, or if they are used to eating breakfast, make sure you make their breakfast. Since you're at home now, you could watch the sunrise if you're not gonna have to drive, an hour or 30 minutes. If you want, you could watch the news. Michael and I usually watch the news in the morning to make sure that we are kind of seeing what the weather is going to do, because we like to be outside and we like to go for walks. And then we try not to watch too much of the news because of all the negativity. And then you could also do like a podcast to kind of center yourself and everything else. But you want to create a commute. So some people, that even means that you'll get up, you'll get dressed, you'll have your coffee, you'll even get in the car and maybe go around the block and then pull up, and then now you're at work, right? It just depends on you and how you want to do it. But you want to pretty much keep a routine and kind of have that commute, all right? The next thing is get dressed for work. So that means if you sleep in PJs or however you sleep, you want to change your clothes and kind of be ready for the day. It doesn't have to be like last week and the week before. Like I said, I'm in the Army. I wasn't putting my uniform on and acting like I was playing Army and doing the recruiting stuff. I would just put on some clothes that wasn't workout clothes, put on some pants, put on some socks, even shoes. Yes, Whitley, you got to get dressed. You can't stay in your PJs and everything else the whole time, because here in a second I'll tell you why. It's called the enclothed cognition, and it means, what that means is what you are wearing tells your brain what you're about to do. So if you're in PJs or gym clothes, your brain doesn't expect you to do a lot of productive work. So you just need to be properly dressed. If you normally are working in a certain type of clothes, that doesn't mean you have to like put a suit on or anything else, but I would suggest, putting some pants on and working. And then business as usual. So that kind of covers the create a commute, but you want to make your morning coffee or tea, and then you want to say hi virtually to your coworkers, or if you have a group text, send it in group text. That way, it kind of brings that accountability into play. And then one of the things I like to do is I like to write down my goals and make a schedule, because that's a really big thing. Especially as an Army recruiter, we have what's called an e-planner. So we usually have everything time blocked out. Well, if you're at home, you don't have that time block way, so you kind of just have to go into it and say, well, this time to this time I'm going to be doing this on Instagram, and then I'm going to switch over to Facebook. That way you don't get put into Facebook or Instagram jail, which I've done a couple times. And then you just want to make sure that you stay on task. Another thing, which I didn't do until later in me working at home, is create your workspace. All right, create your space. And then go to work. By this, I mean set up a room or at least a space that is designated only for work. Don't do anything else in this room or space. It should have a door if you have it, or if you can have a door. That way you can have privacy and you don't have work distractions by any other household activities. And then close the door and walk away, and then just start your day. So what I mean by I didn't have this for a little while I was working at home is I would get up, do my normal routine, and then sit on the couch with both my computers on the coffee table, and I would work. I would get super distracted by either the TV being on for Michael, Michael doing his homework, doing his stuff, or the dogs and the cat. It would just like totally distract me and derail whatever activity I was doing. So now I have a space, which is this, have a desk, have a chair, have another comfy chair that's right by me. That way, if I get tired of this one, I can just move over, be a little bit more relaxed, and still do what I need to do. All right, so create your space. The next one is take breaks. You're not just going to want to just grind, because even at work, when you're at your job, you have you take breaks. You may not notice it, but whenever I'm talking with my recruiters, a lot of times we BS a lot. So we'll finish a task, whether it's sending text messages, making phone calls, and then we'll sit and we'll BS. Or we'll make an appointment and we'll get somebody committed to come in, and then next thing you know, we're talking about what I did or didn't do on that phone call and everything else. And then a lot of people, they go outside, they get up and walk. But for this tip, for taking breaks, it's actually called a Doro technique. So prolonged sitting is not good for your posture, for your health, or for your productivity. You work undisrupted for about 25 minutes and then take a 5-minute break and then repeat. So this kind of goes back into that time hacking. You set a timer for one task, do it for 25 minutes, stand up, stretch, walk around. If you want, go grab something to eat, check on the kids, make sure they're not killing each other, making sure they're doing their work right. Maybe you can check their math and everything else. Maybe go check the mail or go send some mail, change out the laundry, grab a snack. I wouldn't be grabbing a snack until around 1 o'clock. Maybe you can set out your dinner, take it out, put it in the crock pot or the oven, or like I said, see why the kids are being too quiet. Probably because they got into something that they weren't supposed to. So the next tip that I have for y'all is having an email schedule. So this is huge on my work Army one, because emails will just start coming in. And when they come in, I have ADD where I have to check them. If you ever look at my phone, I don't like to have numbers by anything, so I'll literally go in there and check it to clear it. And it goes same thing for my work email on either computer. I don't like having numbers by it, so I will go on there and I will get distracted, and it will pull me off of the task that I was on. So one of the things that I usually do is when I first get on, I check my emails each morning. That way I can make sure there's nothing that oh crap, we need to get this done. You guys need to do XYZ before this time. So then I would kind of set that into my schedule, and I would prioritize my task. And then again, later in the afternoon, I would end up checking it, kind of like if I was in the office and we went to a school or we went and did whatever we normally would have done, and then we came back, then I would check my emails again. But now it's also on my phone, so it's kind of hard. My phone goes off, it distracts me. So you just need to make sure that you have a time that you're going to check these emails, and you're not going to let them pull you out of what you were doing. You need to have a to-do list. That way you spend most of your workday on the tasks that you need to accomplish first, second, third. In the business that I'm in, we call it DMOs, which is daily method of operations. So those are your most important must-do things. That way you can make sure that you get everything done. And then the last thing I have for y'all is, if my computer will work. Set boundaries and expectations. All right, so this is very, very, very big. Especially if you have more than one or two people in the household, because they can take away from you actually being productive and doing the job that needs to get done. So what you need to do is you need to communicate your work needs to the household, whether it's your son, your wife, your husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, kids, anybody else that's in the house. You need to let them know that this is the time frame that I need to get done. Please don't distract me. I will give you some time after this. Set work hours. So if you're usually working from 9 o'clock until 5 o'clock, let them know that, hey, I'm going to take breaks in between here. Here's my hours, and this is how I'm going to be doing everything. That way you don't get distracted and they pull you away. That is one of the biggest parts right there, is setting boundaries. So the first week that I was doing this, I didn't really have boundaries and I was just kind of winging it, and I noticed that I wasn't really getting all the things that I wanted to get done. And then when we sat down after spring break was over, and I told Michael and myself that, hey, from this time you're going to be doing this while I'm doing this. This time to this time you're going to be doing this while I'm doing this. This time to this time we're going to come together, we're going to eat lunch. This time to this time we're going to go take a walk. This time to this time we're going to do this. So just make sure you set the boundaries. That way everybody knows what you're going to be doing. And if you have team members, it might be good to let them know what your worker hours are. That way you can, that way everybody can be as productive as they need to be during the day. So that is all I have for you for some tips for working at home. I hope everybody is doing amazing. I hope you get all your tasks done and you crush the day. I will be back later today, so make sure you guys tap my face, hit the 3 dots in the corner, see first, turn on live notifications, and follow. And also, if you want tips like this or things to do for your child or your teenager or workouts, please drop secret in the comments, because I have an amazing group that I'm a part of that has tips like this that will help you, crush pretty much anything and everything you would want. It's not just keto. It's pretty much, like I said, things to do for the kids, workouts, food, and everything else. So please drop secret in the comments and I will get you added to that. And then, like I said, make sure you follow, subscribe, see first, and turn on live notifications. That way you get to see the next live that I do. And until then, I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you're watching from. And I will check you guys on my next live. Bye!